Hello everyone, welcome to the standard blue-white control wrap-up. And I think in this wrap-up I mainly want to talk about what I learned in the matches and how I might improve this deck in the future, but I'll give you a quick rundown of how the rounds went. In round 1 we played against blue-white heroic. That is the Tom Ross deck that is caught on a lot on Magic Online, I assume largely because of how cheap it is. And I 2-0'd that. I feel like it's a pretty good matchup for us. The deck really can't beat an End Hostilities in game 1. Post-board, they have like Stubborn Denial, but I just think all of our answers line up pretty well against their threats, so beat that without too much trouble. In round 2, I lost to Green-Red Monsters. It's a deck I don't run into too much on Magic Online, but it seems like every time I do, I can't manage to beat it. The Monsters decks are traditionally pretty good against control. I had some problems dealing with his Planeswalkers and Xenagos, God of Revels. And of course this deck has a pretty hard time answering Stormbreath Dragon. That's one of the weaknesses of blue-white control as opposed to blue-black, for example. So I did manage to take a game off of him, and in the 2 games that I lost, it's possible that I could have won with better play. In round 3, I played against an Abzan Whip of Erebos deck. It's the one that's basically like a green-black Constellation deck, but it's splashing white for Siege Rhinos and the White Soul, the one that pumps all your guys and gives them lifelink and stuff. So I beat that 2-1. I noticed I had a hard time dealing with Fleece mainline, particularly once it went monstrous, so I decided for the 3rd game to bring in Nyx-Fleece Ram since it walls a 4/4 Lion, and it actually put in some work. I will say that Nyx-Fleece Ram, of my sideboard cards, probably impressed me the most. None of the other sideboard cards were that insanely good for me, but would definitely not leave home without your 4 of Nyx-Fleece Ram, because I just think that card is amazing right now. Very hard for some decks to answer, considering that like a lot of the removal are things like Lightning Strike and whatnot. So 2-0'd Abzan Whip, and then in round 4 I played against a mirror match. In game 1 we just had the Planeswalker advantage. We resolved a bunch of Planeswalkers, and our opponent couldn't answer them all. In game 2 our opponent mulliganed to 2 cards on the play, so we didn't get that much of a chance to play any real Magic. My opponent was almost in the game with the post-board Brimaz, but I managed to answer both Brimaz, one with like a suspension field and the other with a Banishing Light. So did manage to beat the mirror. And as far as my list goes, I liked the deck conceptually. I just think it might need a little more fine-tuning. Like, I'm glad I decided not to play Devouring Light. There weren't really any matchups where I felt like I wanted that card. And I liked the 4 Last Breath and the 2 Suspension Field. I liked the counter suite that I chose. I liked the Divination. I'm not sure how I feel about Jace. It's a very unique Planeswalker, and I'm not sure if it's exactly what this deck wants. I just kind of wanted some more Planeswalkers. And the interesting thing about Jace in particular is I used the bounce ability, the -3, far less than I thought I would, but I actually ultimated the card a lot more than I thought I would. So I'm not sure how I feel about it. It either soaks up a ton of damage, or hopefully you can ultimate and win. So maybe we don't want this card. I'm not sure what I would put instead. Maybe it's possible that you just want to cut these 2 for like a 4th Elspeth and something else, I don't know, but not sure how I feel on that. And I like my mana base too. 27 lands felt perfect. I didn't get screwed or flooded really too much. I will say that I mentioned that Nyx-Fleece Ram was an amazing card for me. I'm not sure how I really feel about any of the other sideboard cards. The counters obviously need to stay. They're kind of important for those matchups. I also kind of like Glare of Heresy. It's good against that blue-white heroic deck. It's good against other decks with like Banishing Light. Pretty good against like Abzan since you get like Fleecemane Lion and Siege Rhino. So I like that. We might want like a second one of those. The random Reprisal never felt like that would be that great. I don't know what I would board that in against. So I'm not sure how I want to change the board exactly, but some of these cards could potentially get cut for some other cards, I guess. I never felt like I wanted to sideboard very much. I kind of made my main deck like heavily metagamed. I thought that Last Breath would be very good against the decks with like Courser and Rabble Master and the decks like Heroic with the cheap creatures. So I like how the deck performed. Like I said, it is sort of like a concept deck. I was just trying to play a control deck with the most efficient removal possible, and I think it worked out. End Hostilities is quite a good Magic card. So, I mean, that's the main reason to play this over Blue-Black. And to be honest, I still think this is probably better than Blue-Black. I think Blue-Black would offer you better matchups against the Monsters deck since you're playing like Thoughtseize and Hero's Downfall. But I think this is better against decks like Blue-White Heroic and like Abzan and Jeskai. But who knows? I think this is a good deck, though. I think Control is a little underplayed in Standard, and I think it's something that could catch people pretty off guard. So give it a try. I think the deck is pretty solid and worthy of note. Alan Pennington with Gathering Magic. Thanks for watching.